Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be fear of the future. Well, I've got 5 emails that I'm going to go through with you today, and we're going to talk about the importance of learning to manage this big thing called your brain that's between your ears, and look at how fear affects us and what we do, the actions that we take, as well as the actions that we fail to take. Because your ability to be successful long term and to consistently take action and achieve your goals and your dreams slowly over time is going to be directly proportional to your ability to manage the fear that you're feeling and to take the appropriate action instead of taking actions from the place of trying to avoid fear. So before we get into these emails, I got a quote that I wrote that I'd like to share with you. It says, "Fear does not exist anywhere except in the mind. Human beings have 2 primary fears. Number 1, fear they don't have what it takes, and number 2, fear that they won't be loved. Your ability to be successful, stay focused, and take consistent action to achieve your dreams is directly proportional to your ability to use fear as a motivator to take the desired action instead of letting fear hijack you into taking no action at all or taking action based upon avoiding what you fear. Action taken upon avoiding fear actually makes what you fear happen. Since people will do more to avoid pain than they will do to gain pleasure, learn to use fear as a tool and motivator by consistently asking yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what will this cost me down the road if I fail to take the proper action I know I need to take? Number 2, what are the painful consequences of not doing what I know I need to do right now? And number 3, what are the positive and pleasurable outcomes I will achieve by taking the action I know I need to take right now? So let's get into the first email. This one's from a guy. And apparently this guy's written to me before, and I've used his email in a previous video newsletter. It was actually the one called Be Clear in Your Intent, so if you want to go back and check that out. He says, a few days after your response to my last email, this girl texted me after she saw a picture I had uploaded to my dating profile of a recent obstacle course race that I had finished. Despite mentioning that she rarely logged on and was canceling her subscription, I noticed that she updated her pictures and blocked me from seeing her profile. I simply responded by asking her if she wanted to get together the following weekend and avoided getting into a texting conversation. She responded that she was busy and would have to get back to me and let me know when she was free. Now, when a woman says something like that, you have to trust that she means what she says. And a lot of things that's hard for guys, and I know it was really fucking hard for me, especially when you really love a girl and you're really into her and you fucked up, because you have this fear that, what if she doesn't call me again? What if I never hear from her again? And that's like the worst thing in the world, because using these things that I teach, when you've never used them before, it literally scares the shit out of you. And it's really tough because, I mean, let's face it, beautiful women are everywhere. Well, the kind of women that you meet and you look into their eyes and they knock your fucking socks off, and you feel a deep connection to, and it's easy to talk to them, those women don't come along every day. That's just a fact of life. And so when you meet somebody like that and you screw up with somebody like that and your bad behavior totally turns them off, it's really hard to do the right thing, because deep down what you're fearing is that you've ruined it to the point where she doesn't want to see you. But like I say in my book, and why I stress it's so important to read that book 10 to 15 times, you've got to get to know the information so well you don't have to think about it anymore. Because when you're in a situation like this guy is in, he's in a fearful state, and you don't know the material very well, and your mind is going and thinking about her all the time, what should I do, should I do this, should I do that, and you're constantly beating yourself up over it, and you don't know the material well, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to take the wrong action, and you're going to make an inappropriate mistake that's going to set you back. But the deal is that you never try to keep somebody who doesn't want to keep you. Sometimes women will say they want to make a date with you, and then they flake on you. And that's just the way it is. You can't take it personally. You don't know what's going on in her life. You don't know about the other guys that are involved in her life, the guys that she's seen, the guys she's talking to, the guys that she may be dating, the ex-boyfriends that may be coming back into the picture. You just don't know. At the end of the day, you want to be with somebody who wants to be with you. But it's like when you fear that you don't deserve to have what you want, all that goes out the window and you don't pay attention to that. Because sometimes these women will walk and you won't hear from them again and things will dissolve and you have to chalk it up to experience. Because trying to run after them, and it's like after a week goes by or 2 weeks goes by, it's like you can't take it and you want to reach out. All you're doing is confirming to her that she made the right decision from blowing you off. And at the end of the day, she says, I'll get back to you when I check my schedule. Now, if she doesn't get back to you, it doesn't matter. It means her attraction level is too low to the point where she doesn't perceive you as being valuable. But had you have waited, she might contact you a month or two down the road. You just never know. And when you run after her, what you fear happening is obviously her blowing you off and not wanting to see you or canceling dates. You'll actually do things that will make that happen. So after she said she was going to get free, he says about a week and a half later with no contact. No contact means no contact. It doesn't mean you wait a week and then you call her. It means you walk and you never look back. The strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. And when you do that and the woman comes back to you, she's choosing you mutually. The only way you're going to have a healthy relationship with another person is if they choose you mutually. But when you don't wait for them to do what they say they're going to do, now that's where you get into a situation of codependency where only one person is wanting that relationship to continue. Only one person is making the effort. And when you do that, you're never going to feel comfortable. Even if you do end up going out with her a couple more times, you're always going to feel unsafe and you're always going to feel worried that she's not going to get in touch with you. But if she says, I'll check my schedule and I'll get back to you, and a week or two goes by, and then she finally does get back to you, that's what builds your confidence to continue going forward and continue applying the things that I teach. And I would say from this guy here, he probably doesn't know the book very well. And he's in a fearful state because I told him what to do. And he's obviously not listening to me because his fear is overriding what's inside him. And so that's why it would be helpful for him to think, well, the painful consequences of me not doing this. Well, I'm still going to feel fearful that she may dump me or she may break the date. However, if I wait and she actually calls me, then it means I haven't completely blown it. That will give you peace of mind. And that will give you what it is you're seeking at the end of the day, which is peaceful, relaxed state. Meaning you have certainty that you pretty much know that this person's going to want to be with you. That makes you feel good. That makes you feel loved. That makes you feel awesome because they've chosen you. But when you don't give them the space to do that, you're not going to get that peace of mind that you want. Because at the end of the day, in the back of your mind, there's still going to be that nagging fear that, does she really like me? Because you're always going to feel like you're on pins and needles. That's why it's so important that you overcome this and you apply the things that I teach. Because once you see that it works with women that have a high attraction level for you. Women that don't, they'll disappear from your life and you won't ever hear from them again. But you have to become okay with that possibility. You have to become okay with either possibility. Either she stays or she goes. You're happy if she stays, but if she goes, you know deep down inside that eventually you're going to find somebody better. So he says, about a week and a half later with no contact, I texted her again and asked her if she wanted to go out with me on a Saturday, and she replied by asking me if we could meet for a drink the next Friday, which I agreed to. Even though the date is set, I'm not entirely convinced that she's going to keep it since she's gotten cold with me and I haven't been texting her. Should I text her at some point before the date? Read the fucking book, dude. Read my book 10 to 15 times. That is not what I teach. You're still you're in a fearful state. You think, oh, I got to do something to make her like me. And that's why you fear that she's going to break the date on you, because that's pretty much what she's done in the past, because she knows there's no consequences. Because she can break dates and blow you off as she's exploring possibilities with other guys, and therefore you'll keep coming back for more. And you keep doing that, eventually she'll meet another guy that does everything right from the get-go, and she'll choose him, and you won't hear from her again. And you'll end up in the same place the same fearful state you're at now. So it's like, find out now whether or not she wants you. Because if you do the right things now, you're going to give yourself the best possible chances for success. So absolutely, you should not text her before the date. If you've made definite plans, you're going to see her on the Friday. Now, if she cancels on you, that's what happens when you keep pursuing and you let your fear, see, you're hijacked by your fear right now. And that's why you can't even think clearly. So like I said, read the book. Read the fucking book. So let's get into the second email. This guy says, "Hey coach, I split up with my girlfriend a week ago. I tried everything to get her back, including sending multiple gifts to her work." Oh, so you tried to bribe her with gifts. "Please come back to me. Here's some nice cologne or perfume. Please come back to me. Here's a nice diamond necklace. Please come back to me. Here's some tickets for the Lion King. Please come back to me. Here's a car." You're never going to get anywhere with that, dude, because you're trying to make up for the lack you feel within yourself by buying her gifts. Bad fucking way to go, dude. He says, "She texts a little bit, but that's it. I then discovered your videos, and now I know I need to be an alpha male, and if it's meant to be, she will come back." Exactly. "We broke up because my life is out of balance. I moved 3 years ago to near London for a girl, and I have no social life or interest outside of running my own business, so this is where I'm lacking balance, and I know I need to work on this area to gain contentment leading to a successful relationship in the future." Yeah, because you don't have much of a social life, so you meet a girl and like she becomes like your reason for living. You're definitely out of whack and out of balance there. He says, "I'm looking to move to London and get a house share and focus on more social things. And I've been feeling good this past few days, but since then, some things fell through, and now I'm missing her and feeling totally lost again." Because even though you're pretty much single, you're not happy, whole, and complete within yourself. You feel you lack something. And so this girl comes into your life, and you think, oh, if I can get her, then I'm going to complete myself with her. It's never going to work, because even once, say you get together with this girl 6 months, a year down the road, you're still going to be faced with the fact that you're not really enjoying your life, and you're not really happy. You don't have outside interests. You don't have hobbies. You don't have goals. You don't have dreams. You don't have things that you're doing outside of your girlfriend. So what's going to happen is you're going to have your tendencies are going to be to smother this girl because you feel you lack something. You lack a social life. You feel like you lack balance and peace in your life. And therefore, she becomes the object that you're trying to possess in order to feel good about yourself and the fact that you lack a social life. And when you come from that place, you're going to chase her right out of your life. And what you need to do is you need to let her come back to you. When she reaches out to you, just like I talk about in the book, assume it means she wants to see you. Make a date. If she won't make the date or she's unsure of her schedule, withdraw the offer and just say, "Great, figure out your schedule and give me a call, and then we'll plan something then. I'd love to see you." And that's it. And you have to wait for her to get back to you. Chasing after her and running after her is just more you demonstrating to the universe and this particular woman that you feel like you don't deserve to have her. And when you do that, when you act that way, it's unnatural. Women, we all want somebody that feels good and happy and whole within themselves. We want someone to share our completeness with. So what you really need to focus on is completing your life personally without this girl or any other woman. Getting to the place where you really enjoy what you do and go and do things that you love. Go to the restaurants that you love eating at. Go join clubs or organizations that you really enjoy being a part of and hang out with other like-minded people so you can meet other friends and enjoy the same kinds of things. So let's get into the third email. This guy says, "Hey Corey, I love your work and I've been subscribed to your newsletter for a while now, and most of the stuff you write about is very helpful. Now I do have a question about something I've been struggling with for a while now. How do you say no to someone without being harsh? I feel like every time I'm about to say no to someone, they always look at me like I said something stupid and mean against them. I feel bad about it, and I usually do what they told me to do instead, and I do what I didn't want from the beginning. So it's a simple question, really. How do you say no and feel good about it?" Well, The bottom line is that you don't, and this guy's really young, you don't feel comfortable being yourself. And your problem is it's just, remember the primary fears, the second one is fear that we won't be loved. Your fear is that you fear that you won't be loved and accepted by your friends, family, peer group, or potential lovers. Obviously, in this particular case, I assume you're talking about friends. And so you're seeking their approval. And you're doing and saying things that inside don't feel right. You just simply don't want to do it. Like last night, I was supposed to go to a Halloween party. I had a costume and everything for it. And I was real busy and focused on what I was doing, and I was having problems with YouTube uploading my video for the night. And the party was ending at 10 o'clock, and I was just, as it got later and later, I finally get finished, and there was like 45 minutes left. And I was just like, I don't feel like going to this fucking party. So I was like, because everybody's drinking there, there's a DJ. I'm not much of a drinker. I might have a couple of drinks, and that's about it. So I was just like, I don't feel like going. So I didn't go. And I had a great time hanging out by myself. I watched a few movies and just kind of chilled out. And it's great to be able to do that. But the key is, had I gone to this party, I would have drank probably more alcohol than I should have, because everybody's partying and having a good time. And I don't really like to do those things, but it's like you get in the energy and the vibe of that. And it's just a social thing. You can't help it. You know. And then right now, I'd be feeling it. You know, if I only had 3 or 4 beers, I would feel it. I wouldn't feel as good as I feel right now physically. And I'd be pissed at myself because I went to this thing when I just really didn't feel like going to it. And you got to learn to trust that. And when you're young, you don't really feel like trusting that because you're all worried about seeking the approval of other people. But at the end of the day, when you keep doing these things, you're going to make yourself miserable. And so the people that really love you and really care about you, they'll continue to be in your life. And they'll appreciate you. And plus, they'll respect you a little bit more because you're doing what it is that you want to do. And you've obviously got people in your life that try to make you feel guilty when you don't want to go and hang out with them and do the things that you want to do. It's like friends that I had years ago, like, come on, man, let's go out downtown, let's go party. I'm like, dude, I'm just not into fucking drinking and doing that shit like that anymore. It's like, I appreciate the invitation, but you're like, come on, man, you never hang out with me. You changed, you're so different. Why don't you want to hang out? And it's like you get the kind of guilt trip. And then you feel guilty. You're like, oh, okay, I'll go out. And then you have a bad hangover the next day. It's like, fuck, I didn't do what I wanted to do. It's like that's what happens every time. And so you just got to learn to understand that the people that really want you in their life and appreciate you, they'll stick around. And they'll be like, okay, cool. Well, let's do something different then. How about we do what it is that you want to do? It's like you don't get what you deserve in life. You only get what you negotiate. In this particular case, you're a shitty negotiator because you're going along with things that you really don't want to go along with. It's just a bad way to go. And so the thing is, it's like working out. It's, you know, like when you first start doing it, you're still going to feel a little guilty, like, oh my God, I didn't do it with my friend. They're kind of pissed at me. But over time, the more you do it, it's like exercising. The easier it gets. It's muscle memory. And then you get to a place where you feel really good about it and you just really don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, if you keep trying to live your life according to other people's expectations, you're simply going to make yourself miserable. So let's get into the 4th email. And this one's from a woman. She says, hey, Corey, I spent almost 8 years with a man who came home and said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. He devastated me on Thanksgiving Day. I truly believe this man is a narcissist or sociopath. We both had the atypical breakup behavior, but here is a man who I built a $500,000 house with, mostly with my money, and he's keeping all of my belongings. I have been there with the police and I have filed civil actions, and he claims he owns everything. And that tells me, a guy that's doing that, he's in a fearful state. He has a poverty and a scarcity mindset. So in his mind, even though you paid for most of that stuff, he feels that he's losing something if he gives that up to you. He fears that he's losing something that he can't get back. He's attached to those belongings. And you know, it's like what you see when you have people that you lend money, you have friends that you lend money and they never pay you back. They're in a state of lack. And therefore, they figure that if they paid you back, they'd be losing something. That's why usually you lend a friend some money and then you never hear from that person again. She says, litigation has been going on for 22 months so far, and I'm currently engaged to a long-lost love. And when he found out that I was engaged, he slapped a lawsuit on me for $150,000. because he lied to me and cheated on me and stole my things. He has a lot of drug and alcohol problems. Yeah, obviously somebody in that state, that's doing drugs and doing alcohol, he's using that as an escape from his problems. And that particular guy is in a scarcity type of mindset. He's in a poverty mindset. He feels like he lacks. And remember, no one will ever do or say anything that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. So if he felt like he was in an abundance mentality, if he felt like he had more than enough, he'd say, well, just give me a check for X amount of dollars, and because these are the things I want to keep, here's the things you can have. But he's just like, no. He's trying to keep all his stuff because he feels, like I said, he feels like he lacks. He has scarcity. But if he felt like his cup was half full and his cup was running over, he'd be cool with it. He's like, take what you want. Or he'd be like, hey, well, let's figure out what this stuff's worth and we'll split it up evenly. Figure out what your equity share is in the house and based off your receipts, and he'd be cool with it. But instead, he's trying to get as much as he can. He's very angry with me, and he says I'm stalking him. LOL. Funny thing, you can't stalk somebody you don't want. He's with a woman who he was cheating on me with for the last 3 years of our relationship. I cannot understand why someone would want to keep someone else's belongings for their entire life, including items from my son who is married and lives all the way across the country. Can you decipher this kind of behavior? Well, I think it was pretty clear. He's in a scarcity and poverty mindset. He feels like he'd be losing something that he just can't lose within himself by giving up these belongings or his part of, or giving you your part of your equity in the belongings that are yours. We do not speak or text or email or any kind of communication whatsoever, yet he still tries to belittle me and calls me Jody Arias, and sort of other horrible names. I do not understand such immature behavior. Can you shed some light on this? Yeah, like I said, it's just the guy's coming from a place of scarcity and lack, and it's figure out a way to resolve this thing, because the quicker you can resolve this and get your money, or have him buy, if he's living in the house, have him buy you out of the equity of the house, and then you can move on with your life. The sooner the better, because obviously this is just like a negative. He's an energy vampire, and it's like that's why when I see people in my YouTube channel or they send me nasty emails telling me they don't like the way I look, or how come I don't dress differently in my videos? How come I don't wear my hair differently? Or it's like, this is just fucking weird that the things that people are like, I have, somebody that's like bitching about it. You shouldn't talk about politics. You should stick to relationships. Block. I just blocked that person. I don't want to fucking deal with their bullshit. I don't want negative people in my life. I want people that are grateful and appreciative and they're kind to me. And people that are assholes, it's just easier to block them than to respond to them. Because I'm going to be 44 in a few months. It's like, I don't have time for that bullshit. It's like, fuck them. It's like all the praise that I get from emails from people. It's like, why would I want to deal with negative people? It's their fucking shit anyways. It's just like the Buddha said. If someone gives you a gift and you don't accept that gift, to whom does the gift belong? That's something to think about. So let's get into the fifth and final email. This one's from a guy. He says, I've just watched quite a few of your videos and I thought I'd seek your advice. I just broke up with my ex for the first time, and we were together for 2.5 years. It's been about a month and a half, and she works with me, and I'm her superior, so I have to see her 4 days out of the week. When the breakup happened, I was very desperate, and I tried very many things to get her back, showing her how dedicated I was and how much I loved her. Approval-seeking behavior. You're trying to prove yourself to her, just like they do in the movies. Of course, in the movies, it always works, but obviously you're seeing that it never gets you anywhere. The reason we broke up was because she was going on these trips with her friends, and one of them is an ex-sexual partner. And when she came back from the trip, I was not able to get any time with her. Well, it sounds like the other dude was beating up her pelvis instead of you, so she was satisfied and didn't need you. She proceeded to, because obviously this kind of behavior, it wasn't that you acted desperate and needy and chased her after she dumped you. You were probably acting this way throughout the whole relationship, feeling like you lacked something, like you didn't deserve her, and it was just a matter of time before she ditched you. And eventually she just got tired of it, and that's probably why she kept hanging out and probably hooking up with this other guy. She proceeded to find every opportunity to leave on days she would normally spend with me. She's definitely avoiding you. And obviously it bothered you because it impacted your behavior. Remember, what you fear, you attract. And so you were taking actions not from a place of a guy who deserved her, but from a guy who was trying to prevent losing her. And what you fear, you attract. And that's exactly what happened. You made your actions, taking an action from a place of lack, is what drove her away, drove her back into the arms of her old sexual partner. I was very angry about this when we broke up with her. I immediately wanted to get back together. So you broke up because you obviously probably realized she was probably screwing around on you, but then you're like, uh-oh. It's like you broke up to try to punish her. And then so nothing happened. She kept fucking the other guy, and then you kept chasing after her. It's like, come on, man. Have some fucking self-respect, dude. If you love yourself and you perceive yourself as a catch, you're simply not going to tolerate your girlfriend going out and taking long trips with one of her supposedly former sexual partners. Like I said, this continued for almost a whole month, and I'm still feeling these feelings of trying to win her back, although I know now that they are fruitless at this point to act upon. She tells me she has no feelings for me anymore. Yeah, because you totally drove her away and made her feel like, what the fuck am I doing with this guy? I know I messed up, but now what do I do? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Start dating other women and move on with your life, because you pretty much screwed the pooch with this situation, dude. My work situation gave me a negative disposition, and I am changing that by the end of the year. I'm going out a lot more, and I'm doing a lot of the things that interested me before we were dating, but I've never felt such a connection before her, and I'm afraid of losing it. Dude, you're bullshitting yourself. You already lost that connection. She feels nothing for you. I've only had sex with 2 girls before. I've only really dated about 7 or 8 different women. All the more reason to apply the things that I teach, so you realize that you really do have a lot of options out there. Hang out, have fun, hook up. And what you need to be doing is you need to read my book 10 to 15 times to the point where you get to know it so well you don't have to think about it anymore, because that's part of the problem. You don't know the material very well. You've watched a few videos here and there, and that ain't enough. The videos are not a substitution for reading the book, because the videos are based upon what I teach in my book. And if you don't know what's in the book, I mean, you're still going to be making ridiculously simple and stupid mistakes. It's just unnecessary, dude. You got to participate in your own rescue. The only person that can change your life for the better is a dude that you see in the mirror every day. So if you'd like to get my help personally with a problem or a challenge or a situation that you're having, the quickest way is to book a paid phone session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.